I've been asked a lot about the difference between marketing in corporate versus small business. There's a lot of businesses that really think maybe we should copy paste and do the same. And some things like, oh my God, I cannot really do what they're doing from different reasons. So in today's episode, I'm really going to speak about the difference between marketing in corporates versus marketing in small business and what we should actually maybe copy paste from them and what we cannot really take and do the same as they do. So hi everyone and welcome to Big Brainer Podcast. My name is Dana Ohana and this is the place where you're going to learn more about marketing, social media, brand building, and of course about our journey as entrepreneurs and how it can really help us to build a strong brand. So as I said, I've really been asked a lot about the difference between marketing in corporates versus small business. And I actually want to give you 5 different points where you can actually see the comparison between the two. And I want to start with the first one, which is the one that actually really the common one between the two of them, which is the foundation. The foundation is the same. Okay, both either it doesn't matter if you're like a small business or in corporate, you're both working on building your foundation, on having solid foundations, strong foundations for your business, which is including your business strategy, your target audience, your key message, making sure you're defining all of that and you have a strong base, and solid one to work with. Okay, so this is something that you really do in corporates, but you also need to have in a small business. And I think one of the differences here is that in corporate, when you do the marketing, you constantly every year, right, working on building your foundation and making them strong. So you redefining your audience, redefining your key message, you working again maybe sometimes every few years on your brand identity. You're always making sure you're doing things that are in line with this. But in small business, a lot of time we think, okay, we either don't do it because we start a business and we just do a quick job about this, and then we automatically getting okay because I need money in, I need to pay my bills, and so you kind of getting into a survival mode because you're just focusing on getting money into your business. And the ones that are doing it, some of them are really doing it once off and that's it. But the thing is that this is the one thing we need to take from the corporate is that every year we need to actually really look at this and see what we need to work on, what we need to amend. Our audience is still the same? Is the message still the same? Are we doing everything that's in line with our business strategy? And that's the part that we need to actually copy paste from them. Which actually led me to the second point, which is about the planning. Okay, because in corporates, in marketing, and I've been doing it for so many years, every year we would start planning the upcoming year. Okay, what are we going to do next? And it's going to be a huge plan that really learning the different segments, learning the different stakeholders, and what needs to be done, and everything around this. And then of course we take that plan. We need to get it approved, and then through that we get a budget, and that's what we're working on the next year. And then we need to actually get the results of what we planned. In small business, there's not much planning. Some businesses maybe plan because they need to have maybe a business plan so they can get the budget and can get the funds for this. Some maybe do once off a plan, but they don't really create a plan. They don't really have something. And again, I'm saying in a very general way, like a very generic way. And of course, there's some that do it. But I think this is also the one thing we should actually copy paste from the corporates to really have a plan. But the plan doesn't need to be the same as they do. Because when I used to work in corporate, we really, as I said, we would do so much research and a lot of understanding. But as a small business, you really need to have a basic, very simple plan. Something which I actually also have a course about this. But it's a plan that also says what's your business strategy, what's your vision, put some goals and set up some goals and objectives and have an action plan. Something very simple and basic to work with. But it is very important that we also going to plan what's coming up next, because this is really going to help us to grow a business and not to stagnate with our business. We want to grow. We want to be in a better place. We don't want to see the same amount coming in every month and every year. We want to see, that big jump. And in order for us to do that big jump, it's really important to plan. But as I said, when we copy pasting the corporate from the planning side, it doesn't mean that we need to copy paste it as it is. We need to copy paste it with adjustments. So when, for example, when I created my course, I was building a template I took it from the corporate, but I simplified it so it will suit small business owners. The third point that I want to speak about is the resources. In corporates, right, it's a big team. You have the sales teams, and you have maybe a customer service team, and you even have maybe a bigger like marketing team. Because, like, for example, we were 3 people doing the marketing, but we also had a big team that is in Europe, a big team in the US, that we all like share the knowledge, combine, give a lot of information, versus a small business that, it's just usually a one-man show. It's usually just us, right? Maybe we have another person, 2 people, but it's really like a small one, which that actually takes me to the next point, which is about the focus. Okay, so in corporate, they can focus on different segments, on like different stakeholders, because as I said, it's a bigger thing. So they can actually divide a job between different people, okay? Versus that if you actually look at small business, that it's usually a one-man show, we cannot really spread ourselves, okay? We cannot be like an octopus and have so many hands, right? That trying to touch this and do different things. And that's why it takes me to the first point that I spoke about, which is the foundation, right? That's why we really need to be focused. We need to know who's our audience that we want to focus on only specific like niche. We want to know what is our key message and have one key message. And we really want to focus on, like the different social media platform and put that message. We cannot be like in corporate that I remember I had one big message, but I adjusted that message to the different stakeholders, to the different segments. So for example, I used to tweak that like message to suit like hospitality and healthcare and like food processing and like different segments of this. And in those one, because I had a bigger team and I had a sales team, I was also adjusting even the message even more to suit the different stakeholders. So to the procurement manager, to the health manager, to the safety manager, to HR, to all of them, because I was trying to get a message right to each and every one of them so we can have, a better option to close the deal. But when you are like a one-man show, you cannot really do it by yourself. And that's why it's really important to make sure that we're focusing on what's right for us. And then we can do one audience, nail it down, and then move to another one. But we really need to focus. We really need to niche ourselves. Okay, because we don't have that big team. And when our business is growing, of course, we can actually, grow and do more stuff. And that actually, if like we're already speaking on like the size of the company, it leads me to the 5th point, which is about the budget. Because, when you work in corporate, you have a huge budget. Usually, like it's probably, in most of them, it's millions, okay, in their budgets. Versus a small business, we don't have millions. We don't even like 10,000s necessarily in our budget. Everyone have a different budget. And again, it's really depend on the type of business. But for some, we actually have a small budget to work with. And for some, we actually need to go for it to get fundings that we can actually do it. And that is why it's very important to remember that we cannot really do all the things that they do. Okay, we cannot plan big plans and do big things. We need to adjust what we're trying to do to the budget we have. That's why I always love to share that there are so many free tools, to do it. Like even now when I'm recording the podcast. So maybe it's not the top quality because I'm using my laptop and I'm using Anchor like as a free platform to promote it. But it's still doable. You can still do it. You don't need to have those big budgets to do the same thing as they do. And again, you also now focusing as them on like different segments, different stakeholders, doing different events. You have a big teams. You need to all of that. So you really work differently. So if I'm going to try to sum it up, okay, on the different 5 points that I said and like what you should use and what you should not, and like what you should actually copy paste or not, is that the foundation is the same. Okay, we all start from the same place. we all want to make sure that we have the right business strategy. We know our audience and we know what's our key message and where we want to focus. And here we go to the part of the planning, okay? So this is also the part that, yes, we want to have a plan as a small business, but we cannot do the same type of plan that corporates does, because we don't need the same amount of information that they're looking for. You don't need to get your plan and get it approved by other different, different positions in the company. Maybe you can need to approve it and present it to a bank or like another organization that you want to get the funding from, but it's not necessarily on that same level. And again, you need to remember that you're a one-man show, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 people, but it's not a huge team of sales, legal, and like customer service and big marketing team and all of it. So you don't have all those tools and means to actually go and do, like, again, and I link it to the budget, big activity, big things, to spread yourself to different segments, to try to reach out different stakeholders. You really need to make sure that you take your foundation and you're really working on niching them down. And every year, really try to look at things that you've done and say, okay, what can I, improve? What's not? What to change? What not? How can I grow my business? And if you're actually going to follow like this and take those stuff from the corporates, like the foundation and like the focusing on a specific niche and planning the right way and focusing on the budget that you have, if you do all of that, you can actually from one year to another keep on growing your business. That who knows, maybe at one day you're going to move from a small business to a medium-sized business, and then you even in one day become like a big, corporate. So take it all in mind when you're trying to work on your business. And remember, take what's right for you from the corporate. Don't copy paste everything. And if you're already copy pasting, don't fully copy paste. Make the right adjustments to suit your business, to suit the size of your business, the resources of your business, your budget, and everything else. So I hope you find this is valuable. And don't forget that if you're not sure in anything, in the things that you do, you want to focus more on your foundation. You want to work on the things the right way, or even check my course on the marketing and strategy plan. Just search for Big Consulting. All the links is here in the description. And if you have questions, I'm always here to answer.